Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Let's see what today's reading is for you. So if you are new here, there is in the description box all the details if you would like to book in for a personalised reading. If you haven't already, please do like and subscribe to my channel as well. So I work with the runes and tarot cards. We also have some oracle cards in the form of angel cards and also moon cards today. So even though we're just coming out of a full moon at this time, although you could be watching this video at any point, it's a timeless video. This is a time where I do still feel there is this energy before we go towards the new moon. And the day before the new moon is where we have a final push of release from whatever it is that's been sort of needing to be shed or needing to be released from our energy. So I do feel this particular moon, this full moon, has really illuminated a lot of things for people. It's really almost like the mask has completely come off. There is no unseeing what you've seen. There's a lot of perhaps what was illusion before that's been completely shattered now. So I'm going to just work with the moon cards because that can leave you in a place of wondering, like, well, what's next? What I believed to be true or what I believed was happening, that's not happening now. So what do I do from this point? Okay, so let's see what the moon cards have in store for us right now. And this is kind of like rebuilding those foundations. Ooh, and sometimes you can take the debris of the old stuff to use as, part of your foundation, It's taken me a while to get these out, isn't it? There's a slow energy today. We've got manifest there on the bottom. So perhaps you're manifesting something right now. And forgive. Okay. Now, I do feel that there's an energy here of forgiving yourself. It might be to do with forgiving somebody else as well. But forgiving yourself. And with manifest on the bottom there, this could be something that you perhaps feel that you've manifested, but you're second guessing whether it's like, well, did I make all of this up because I manifested it? And now there's been a situation that's occurred and there's a need for forgiveness around that. Okay. So I do feel a heavier energy with some people here, like an energy of feeling deflated. I feel like things haven't really gone the way that you hoped or expected or wanted. But as with anything, it just highlights things that need to be looked at deeper, doesn't it? If things didn't go the way that we planned or expected or wanted, why is that? What was it about that particular situation that created that for you? So I'm going to leave forgive there, and we're going to grab an angel card, and then we're going to get into the runes to see what the overall energy is of this reading. But I do feel it is mostly to do with about building new foundations around something that needs forgiveness. Forgiveness and surrender. There feels like there's a little bit of holding on to bitterness, I dare say it. There's a feeling of, with forgiveness and surrender, you've kind of come full circle on this. It's like, I give up. I just give up. Maybe you've been holding on to something for some time. Things around this full moon have been highly illuminated for you, to the point where you cannot unsee it. And it's potentially time now for you to surrender to it. But there is this need for forgiveness on here as well. So I'm going to get more information on that as to, like, what is this about? And the surrender here, there's a lot going on around the throat chakra there. So this could be about surrendering some truth, surrendering something that needs to be said, needs to be spoken. I'm getting shivers, so that's confirmation there that is the truth of it. Somebody has been wearing a mask. Somebody has been kind of like not really giving the truth here. And around this full moon, something has been blown wide open to the point where it's like it's screamingly obvious that there is something, there's an elephant in the room that everybody can see it now. It's, it's there. And maybe this forgiveness has been coming for some time. Maybe this is somebody that, you know, needs to forgive you. Maybe you feel like you've done something wrong and you're looking for forgiveness from somebody else. And I do feel for some of you, you kind of surrendered on an idea of something. Let's see what the runes have got for you then in this particular one. There's defensive energy on here. It's like you're protecting yourself. You are protecting your energy around this. We have Isa. So yeah, there's definitely been an energy of things being put on hold right now. So I do feel this is potentially to do with people in your life at the moment that you kind of not cut off, but just on hold with, not really sort of communicating with at this time. And I've got an energy of somebody that feels like they want to really isolate themselves. Somebody in this situation is, yeah, gone into freeze mode. So this can be one of the responses that we have, you know, when we feel under threat or when we feel hurt. We can go into like a fight, flight, and sometimes freeze. People forget about the freeze, but there is a freeze. And I feel with Isa here being at the centre of this, with forgive and surrender, this is somebody that's, or people in this situation are having to really go within and observe themselves. I did a reading yesterday and this one came out as well. So I do feel this is actually the same collective, probably going to be very similar information, although that one had some positive news in it, but that was more to do with a love connection. I'm not sure what this is yet. I'm not sure whether this is to do with that. This is about lessons. This is about learning cycles. It's almost like you are being thrown into challenges and things to see how you deal with them, see what you do with them. But I've got a feeling of somebody that's sort of like, I cannot take any more pain. I cannot take any more hurt. And you know, dishonesty, mistruth. Oh, this one came out earlier today as well, Sawillow. So Sawillow is an energy of the sun, and I pulled this one out when I was at the beach earlier today. We decided to take a road trip, go to the beach, enjoy some sunshine, and this came out with the Tower earlier, so it'd be very interesting if the Tower comes out again today. And it's about moving forward with intention. It's about things are going to suddenly change, but it's change with intention. So somebody's intending that change. It's almost like this has been on hold for some time now, and somebody is surrendering to, okay, the truth needs to come out. Something needs to change on this. And there's a want for forgiveness, I feel, within that. Sawillow is a very healing rune. I would connect this to strength in the tarot cards. So that is sort of, you know, having that courage, having that bravery to come forward in a healing way for the purpose of healing. Okay. So if this is perhaps a connection with a loved one, it may mean it's kind of like closure on a situation, as to sort of be, you know, well, this is what's happened. This is how things have been. But we don't want to leave it in a, you know, a way that feels bad. So here's the truth. Here's what's going on. I surrender this. I'm waving my white flag, that kind of thing. But then for some of you, it may be about more manifesting dreams through this, actually. It's almost like, you know, actually taking things off hold to see what inspiration there is, to see what intention there is to move forward. So I am getting that from there. But that sun energy, it is masculine energy, so that's, and it's about standing in power as well. You know, and the sun, it does in its own way illuminate things too. And we have algaes, so this is kind of, it's definitely about a situation that's occurred, I feel, where there's perhaps been a lack of boundary. There's been a need to put things on hold. But somebody here has got to a point of you know, maybe wanting forgiveness and needing to surrender to something, but they've learnt to hold healthy boundaries with this now. Okay, almost like I'm getting this feeling of somebody wants to come in right where perhaps it wasn't right before. There is a protective energy around this. So what I'm going to say here is, if this is a situation where somebody hasn't treated you very well, maybe you've been hurt in the past, or hurt by this person several times, Spirit won't actually let this person get near you unless they are ready to take a chance or to make those changes. It's about their intentions, and it's about your intentions as to why you want to, you know, have communication with this person, or to, you know, whatever the situation is to be around them. But there's a need for having boundaries, healthy boundaries. And this has been riding in a lot of readings for the past week, I'd say, actually, has been about having boundaries. There is an energy of you, I feel, needing to talk to people in your inner circle, because you have the tendency sometimes to carry these things on your own, to not really offload any information until you're completely sure. You're quite a private person, I feel. But this energy is asking you to, you know, allow people around you to hear you and understand you. And you may pick up some information from them as to how to move forward with this. They may tell you something that you hadn't really considered or thought about, okay? Now, there may be reasons why you don't want to come forward with something, because, you know, perhaps there's an energy of protecting yourself from people around you as well. Maybe you do have boundaries with the people around you. But there's having boundaries, and then there's isolating yourself. And with Isa being present there, it kind of suggests to me that you've gone freeze, like you're isolating yourself in this situation. You are observing, you are thinking and wondering about things, but you aren't actually expressing those things to people that potentially could give you some information. And I do feel that there are people around you that do want to protect you, that do actually care about you and want you to be happy. And, you know, they may be able to help you to understand that. But there's a fear around it. It does feel like there's a fear around it. So I'm going to just get some tarot cards now on this. So why is surrender here? Let's have a look at that first of all. What is surrender all about? Okay, we've got the Five of Cups on here. So somebody's feeling quite low at the moment, quite down about something. It's almost like you're sick of feeling that way about this particular situation. Something, ooh, whoa, okay, they fell out on the bottom. Wasn't expecting that. So I'm going to talk about these ones first of all. So we've got the Nine of Swords on here, and the Six of Pentacles in reverse. There's worry here, and also an imbalance of, I'd say there's a feeling of somebody giving too much here and not taking enough, or the other way around, somebody taking too much and not giving enough. So there's one person in this situation that has been giving, and another person that's just been taking. I don't know which way around that is, whoever you are on this, but you, if that resonates with you, you will know. You will know if this is for you. So somebody's feeling an element of guilt around that with the Nine of Swords on here. So I do feel that there's an energy of somebody feeling guilty for maybe taking and not giving enough. That's what I'm feeling from this. I've just heard the word empathy. So it's almost like if somebody has a lot of empathy for you, I'm getting a thought in my head about, and I think I've discussed this before, you know, if somebody is, say for instance, a child is upset about something. So a child's upset about something, maybe they've banged their head, they've hurt themselves, okay? The child's crying, and you talk to that child about what just happened, or you hurt your head. But then they will cry again and say, oh, it's because I miss daddy or something like that, okay? They will, it's almost like they can't allow that feeling to go away. It's like, oh, what else can I feel this feeling about? That kind of thing. And I'm getting an energy like that for here. I'm not saying that people are sort of being in a self-pity mode, but it's more about kind of like you can't seem to pull yourself out of a feeling of guilt or a feeling of being sad about this, being upset about this. But not really knowing, not really having a way forward on it. It's just this feeling keeps coming up, but you will maybe transfer it into something else that might be going on in your life at the time, because you can't look at this particular situation. It's too painful or it's too difficult. So you'll maybe put that energy into something else that you could maybe be upset about, or annoyed about, or worried about. So there is a need for, I do feel perhaps this surrender is about, perhaps if you were the person that was maybe taking more, this is about you surrendering to giving more to this person. Or it may be the other way around, where it's sort of like if you've been the one that's been giving more, you may be surrendering now to the fact of like, well, actually, I'm just going to step back. If this person really cares about me, really sees my value and my worth, then they will want to give to me, okay? And this is possibly the situation here, is about knowing your worth, okay? If you're constantly reaching out the door to help somebody else all the time, but it's not being reciprocated, then they aren't really valuing you at all. So then it's down to your discernment, like, well, is that empowering me or disempowering me? How does that make me feel? And you can only really expect more disempowerment if you go down the road of like continuing to do that. And it kind of keeps you in this cycle of feeling low, feeling guilty, feeling worried, and not being able to sort of, have that balance, basically. Because I do feel like you're the kind of person that would like balance. You want to have balance. That is what you want to achieve, especially in relationships. So it's kind of pushed you into this energy of isolation and introspection. And somebody here is really closely focusing. So he's focusing there on the light. So trying to find a solution to this, trying to manifest a way forward. This is kind of like taking an energy of going through a real reflection, meditating on the situation that's in hand, as sort of like, what could I have done different there, or what actually happened there? And I can see somebody kind of going over and over the details a lot, maybe thinking it through all different ways, scenarios, like role playing in your head, different ways that could have gone, could have happened. I've got somebody, getting an energy of like somebody saying like, don't stumble over the rocks. It's almost like, well, you're so busy focusing in here, you're kind of not seeing the obstacles in the way that are surrounding you right now. There's an energy here of like, you need to pay attention to where you're stepping forward, to the way that you're going forward, because right now you're kind of about to trip up over a massive rock and you're not seeing it because you're too far within yourself, okay? And sometimes when we do that, things really hit you in the face and it might be too late, is basically what this is saying. It's kind of like there's a time for introspection, there's a time for, I will say 9 is the number for the Hermit as well, but 9 is also a number of completion. So it's almost kind of, I'm being guided to say, is like you've reached a completion, you've reached a point of completion now around this. You cannot think this anymore without it being an overthought. So that's why we've got the King of Swords here in the reverse position. This is somebody that's really kind of like just thought and thought and thought. You can't have so much control over this particular situation from within. I do feel there's an element here of somebody trying to protect their heart, trying to protect themselves from hurt, but so much in the mind, so much in their head, but not really sort of like expressing anything on there. So there is a need for communication. There has been an element of manipulation as well in a particular situation. So I think that's what this forgive card is there for. There's been an element of manipulation. So that may be where perhaps there's a little bit of guilt in there. A feeling sort of like, well, I wanted what I wanted there. I wanted my needs met in that particular situation. Yeah, and it's kind of like somebody trying to thinking a lot about a particular situation on there. I can see somebody stood up really high. It's like you're on top of a mountain or something. You're somewhere outdoors, really high up, and like the wind's blowing in your face and things. Like you're trying to sort of just blow away the confusion, blow away the things that are uncomfortable for you. So if this is you, then perhaps you've taken a trip lately up a mountain, or to a nice place. It's kind of like helping you to find that clarity that you're looking for. But again, that's introspection, isn't it? You're taking a lot of time introspecting at the moment. So this is a time for, and this card as well is about adventure. So yes, I do feel for some of you, you are kind of off doing something right now that's helping you to figure things out, is what I'm feeling. You're looking for that clarity. But this is an energy of inspired action. And we have got Swillow here in the middle of your reading too. So this is kind of like, you know, your intention is this inspired action. It's kind of thrown you into that. And I will say, what Spirit telling me on here is this is almost like they're clapping you forward, because it's like you've had this realization, you've awoken to a place within you that is enabling growth, like major growth. You know, you're learning the lessons now, rather than hiding from them, rather than pretending them and avoiding them or putting them onto somebody else or anything like that. You are owning it. You are becoming accountable for it. And you are realizing where balance needs to be in here. So I do feel that this situation that's occurred, it's not an unusual pattern that's been in your life before. And you've got to the point now where it's like, I cannot and will not go through that again. This isn't going to happen again. And that's what this surrender is all about. So I'm going to just get some cards now to figure out what this forgive is all about. So that was quite a lot on there for surrender, wasn't it? So let's see what we've got for forgive on here. I do see as well on the Knight of Wands, I've never noticed that before, there's this eye on the top there. So it's like, it's got like a cyclops eye and then two eyes here. So it's almost like you're seeing things from your Ajna chakra, from a space of intuition. You're seeing through illusion now. It's like there's no illusion anymore. That illusion was broken at the full moon. There's no illusion. There is no hiding from this. That elephant in the room is plain as day. Everybody can see it. Everybody knows it's there. Oh, I nearly bit my tongue then. Yeah, somebody wants to bite their tongue. It's almost like you kind of, whatever this is, it's been pushed into a corner to the point where it's got to come out. We do have the 10 of coins on here. So forgiveness, this is kind of about, okay, 7 of coins in the reverse on there. Okay. So there's been an issue with, on this forgiveness. Let me think about this one. The 10 of coins. Why would that come out for this? Because 10 of coins is kind of like, okay. There's a need for forgiveness on this because this feels like something that you want as a committed thing. It's like something that you want in your life that makes you feel maybe safe or in control. It makes you feel wealthy is what I'm getting. And the 10 of coins, because the 10 of coins or pentacles is all about that wealth. It can signify as well like about family too. It's quite nice energy to it. In the card, one deck I've got, it's like a family dancing around with all these pentacles everywhere. So it's almost like an energy of like things coming together, things being right, like a conventional kind of situation. So there's a want for forgiveness in that area. Now this might actually be, what I'm getting from there is there's a want for perhaps things to be a bit smoother with family situation. So this could be somebody in your family. I'm getting it that it could be a female in your family actually that you want to, when I say family, it doesn't have to be directly blood family. It could be somebody in your inner circle, you know, that you see as family, that you just want some smooth, plain sailing with. You know, I can see somebody like plastering walls actually. It's almost like you just want a blank canvas with this person. You want it to be feeling more like solid, grounded sort of energy. Okay, so I'm going to get now, let's see what's happening on your side of things. So let's see, how are you feeling about this situation right now? How are you feeling about this situation? How is this person feeling about this situation? Okay. We've got the Star, but we've got it in the reverse position. So you're feeling at the moment like what you wanted to manifest, what you've been hoping and wishing for, there is like almost no hope. It's almost like you're feeling hopeless right now. You're feeling like all is lost. I do get an energy of, there's a feeling of self-sabotage here. Like taking a wrong decision, or, you know, and again, that's this forgive and surrender, isn't it? It's like somebody is surrendering to the point of sort of like, I can't see this sort of, I'm not very hopeful about this situation. But there's a sadness to that, because it feels to me like even though you're feeling like that, maybe there is an element of hope. So I'm going to get another card to go with that now to see. There's something about money on this as well. It's almost like I do feel somebody that's feeling a little bit worthless at this time. I feel like that could be on your side. It's like you're feeling, maybe you've had a bit of a dent in your finances at this time and you're feeling that you don't have much to give. Oh, okay. Well, okay, so how you're feeling as we were talking just there. So we've gone from like not feeling any hope, but the deep down feelings here is a want for a union, want for connection here. This can be the energy of like two people that have worked through a lot, brought things together. It's a beautiful, beautiful energy of something that you can trust and that you're attracted to. And it came up with the Empress, which is the divine feminine. So if this is a connection with a particular female, that could be representing the female in the connection that you want to have this union with. If you are the feminine here, then this could be a want for union with somebody that's emotionally available, that has unconditional love. You know, that is what you're hopeful for. That is what you really want, but you're feeling that all hope is gone. Yeah, there's a real urge for something unconditional, something that you can really feel safe with and trust. That's what I'm getting from here. There's a real want to be able to trust a connection and feel a union and a bond within that. This is interesting though as well, because the Empress is the energy of, you know, a divine feminine that doesn't chase, she attracts. And the Two of Cups is also a similar energy of sort of like, you know, this sort of is the kind of connections that they're just aligned. It's that kind of energy of like where you just meet somebody out of the blue. You happen to go somewhere one day and this person also decided to go there that day and you magically aligned. So both of these cards hold that sort of energy of like, you know, whatever's meant for me will find its way to me. It will be attracted to me. And I do feel maybe you've said that to yourself. It's sort of like, if this is meant for me, then it will find its way back to me. You know, it will be attracted towards me. And yeah, that's the energy I'm getting from there. So deep down, there is this want for that union, for that commitment. That's beautiful. Okay. I'm going to see what is, yeah, we've got this five. I can't unsee that because we've got the Five of Cups on the bottom of there. So there is a lot of pain, a lot. I do see somebody quite sad about this, feeling quite low. And that's where this lack of hope is. As it's on the bottom of the deck, I do feel this is kind of like just a riding energy that's underneath it on there. I'm burping again, that's usually my sign of healing. So there is healing on its way to you if that is where you are at right now at this time. I'm going to get some cards on the person that's on your mind within this connection. How are they feeling about you? I don't normally do that kind of thing, but I just want to see, because maybe this will give you some of that hope back if this is what you're feeling. How are they feeling about you right now? How is this person feeling? Okay. Ooh. There's an energy of they're feeling that you're a little bit maybe immature, a little bit naive, perhaps. Yeah, there's an energy of not being able to communicate on an emotional level is what I'm feeling from this. Oh, okay. So how is this person feeling about you? God, they've got a lot that they're not saying. It's almost like there's suppressed thoughts and feelings that you haven't heard, that you don't know about. And maybe you're picking up on that. Maybe you feel that and that makes you feel a bit insecure or not hopeful. Let's have a look. What is this person feeling about you right now? There's a lot of pages coming out, which is kind of like a younger energy. So maybe this person is younger than you. Maybe they're a bit insecure. Okay, let's have a look. There's a lot come out on here. We've got the King of Pentacles in reverse. So there's an instability. It's like they feel, maybe you've been a bit hot and cold. They feel a little bit like they don't know where they stand. I'm going to have a look at the other ones though before I say any more, because I don't know. I'm going to go with that because I feel, yeah, there's an instability, a feeling of like, you know, they maybe aren't sure where they stand with you, or the foundations have been rocky. Perhaps there's been an element of, because we've got Justice in here as well, so there's an element of not maybe knowing, where did that go? Not knowing the full truth, or they feel like they're not getting the truth. Things aren't being clear, potentially. Five of Swords, so let's have a look, because I've got okay. There's an element of somebody feeling manipulated, somebody feeling like there's been dishonour here as well. But there's things that they don't know about. And this might be part of that elephant in the room sort of thing. So if you haven't communicated this, and maybe this is part of the issue that's been going on in this connection, is sort of like if somebody is constantly thinking things or worrying things or saying things to you, you might be a bit sort of like, oh, do you know what, just, you don't get me, obviously, you don't understand me, you don't really know my true intentions. But you see, if we don't communicate our intentions, then it leaves the door open for people to think all sorts of things, doesn't it? So if this is something that you need to surrender, which is the truth, then do it. it does look like with that algaes in there as well, with boundaries, is kind of like, you know, go at a pace that feels right for you. But with the Magician there, this is kind of like, you know, there's a way to go about this. There's a way to go about something. And it feels like, I've got a feeling that there's two people that are wanting to connect here, wanting to trust. But there's a feeling of something is hidden, something isn't being exposed, something isn't known. And that's kind of like keeping this energy, you know, there's hope for forgiveness, there's hope for surrender. But something has to give in order for that to happen, is what I'm getting. Okay, I've got the World in reverse on here as well. So it's almost like, you know, there's an element for needing closure on certain aspects as well. So this might be, for some of you, closure in other areas of your life, things that need to sort of be, closed down, and just be careful of not taking shortcuts in certain areas in order to get what you want or get things the way that you think they should be. It's almost like, well, we don't need to discuss that today because we can just go and have a coffee instead. It's more comfortable doing that, but sometimes, you know, be comfortable in the uncomfortable, because that gets the job done. It clears the air and it gets rid of that burden that I do feel you're feeling right now. And when there's emotion that comes through, that's come out twice, I think. No, sorry, it was the 9 of Cups, not the 8 of Cups. What was I saying? I'll come back to that. There's a need for planning, a need for, I can see somebody writing something down, and this might be somebody writing a text and then deleting it, writing a text and then deleting it, not knowing what to say or how to say it. So yes, there's that energy of, as we were saying, like, oh, we'll just go for a drink today, we don't need to talk about anything. And I feel like this is how a kind of situation occurred here anyway, because it's almost like something wasn't discussed, something wasn't talked about. And there's a need for, you know, somebody's had an idea on here of how things need to go or how they want them to go. When you have all of the information, when you have all of the knowledge, then you can make an informed decision. But if you've only got half the knowledge, half the information, you can't really make a big decision on it. So I do feel for many of you who are watching this right now, this is your time for sort of like really getting all the pros and cons, all of the facts down as to what it is that you want. Make a plan for yourself as to how you want to go forward, how you want to move forward. You know, work off the facts. Got the 6 of Cups on here, so yeah, I do feel that this is somebody that you are maybe reminiscing about or thinking about. You're very much going over this situation a lot, and it's good to sort of like, you know, pick things apart, pick over the bones of things, but not to a point where it's sort of affecting your day, affecting the way that you do things or the things that you're thinking about, or being present with the people that you are there with at the time. So when it gets to that point, it's almost like, there is a need to discuss this. There's a need to get this out, because you're kind of just keeping it in right now. So again, you know, with that 8 of Coins, what I'm getting here is that there's a need for you to maybe go and soundboard this off to people in your life, because it's amazing how, and I've realised this myself personally, is you can try and think things over in your head of like the best way to go about something, or how you're going to do things for what you feel is the greater good, and you don't talk to anybody about it. But then when you do talk to somebody about it and you get their opinion of it, or they say something that you didn't really consider or think about, it helps you to make a more informed decision. So talking to people that you trust is a very good idea, a very good decision. Also, if somebody says something and it kind of triggers you a little bit, or you're like, no, it makes you realise actually what you do think and feel, okay? You know, like say, for instance, if this was about somebody that you need to discuss something with, and you like this person, but you're not admitting that you like this person, and your friend turns around to you and says like, oh, just block them, just cut them off, whatever, you know, they don't really mean anything, and they're just being this, that and the other. If that gets to you, then that's kind of telling you that maybe they do mean more than you realise, if you catch my drift. So it's kind of like, it can tell you everything that you need to know. I'm not going to take all of those. We have got the devil on the bottom of here. So this is kind of like a feeling of desire, temptation. And you may be working through perhaps some addictions right now. Something, when I say addictions, I don't mean like, you know, drugs and alcohol and things like that, unless that is something that you're working with. It's more sort of like, we can get obsessive over thoughts sometimes. Like you can keep going over and over and over a thought. And it's distracting. It's kind of stopping you from moving forward in the way that you want to move forward. I'm going to get one now for like final outcome. So let's see, what is the final outcome here in this situation? Okay, so the Two of Swords. So there needs to be a choice. This is kind of like, at the moment, a stalemate. Is sort of like no one's really talking to anybody. It can't really stay there because that doesn't feel good, does it? And this situation feels like it's been avoided. But the Two of Swords can hold this energy of kind of like, you know, you can choose, like the swords are normally crossed over like this. It's like protecting the heart. It's blocking things from you. She's blindfolded as well normally, so she's sort of like not looking, not seeing it. I'm just going to completely avoid this situation. But there is another energy to the Two of Swords, which is kind of like working more with your intuition because you're blocked on certain other aspects. So it kind of makes you go within. I do feel for some of you, you feel blocked. And for others of you, you feel avoidant. So there may be two different energies towards that. So that's coming out as an outcome, is kind of like, you know, just avoid it, just leave it kind of thing. Now, if you do, you can only really expect more of this, and it may grow bigger and bigger and bigger and become more of an elephant in the room, to the point where the elephant's backside is literally in your face and you can't can't move for it, that kind of thing. So there is a need to work through that on there. I'm going to just have a look at something actually, because that Two of Swords, I want to see if there's any keywords in here that may help you. Sometimes they give you little keywords. Ah, okay, right. So it says on here, it can be about fear of commitment. So choosing the best route of action, making difficult choices, and opposing ideas. But there was something about that fear of commitment as well on there. So maybe this is part of this situation. And why there's a want for having boundaries as well. I do feel for some of you, you feel that if you go into this of feeling trapped, that's what I'm getting. There's a feeling of a fear of feeling trapped. So now we've just discussed that, I'm going to get a final card now out for this. So how do you feel now, since we've talked about that one? How do you feel right now with this Two of Swords? How do you feel right now? Okay, I've got the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is kind of an energy of communication, actually. It's an energy of good news, and things coming in like a fast, decisive action. So maybe after we've just discussed that one on there, you've kind of realised something and thought, oh, okay, that does sound highly likely that that is the situation. And again, it's like, it looks like an eye in the centre of there. So it's sort of like working through these things that are holding you back. Work through those things. Don't fear them. Allow them to, all the things that have gone on within this connection or within anything else that's happening in your life, you can take from those things and use them as building bricks. And then from there, you can stand on them. You can elevate yourself more through the knowledge of them. Do not fear them. Do not feel like they are bad things or baggage that you're carrying around. They aren't. They're your building materials to lay down solid foundations of understanding truly yourself. Okay. The Eight of Wands just looks completely like the web of Wyrd, like all of the runes fit within here somewhere. All within us, we have them going down and across and down. And this is alignment, basically. It's connecting yourself into alignment with that decisive action. And it aligns with good news and things coming in that are positive. So, wow, this was a lot longer than I was expecting it to be, but I'm going to leave this reading here for you. If you would like to go into this in further detail about your particular situation, then please do get in touch for a personalised reading. And please do like and subscribe to my channel. Have a blessed day.